This video is brought to you by John Robson Guitar Tuition. If you enjoy the content, please consider supporting the channel by enrolling on a course, purchasing some guitar lessons or a t-shirt, or you can join my Patreon. Now, on with the show. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. It's Tuesday, which means we're doing a top 5 list, and the topic for this list was suggested on the live stream a couple of weeks ago. If you don't know about the live stream, every Friday, 5 p.m. UK time, we have a beer and a chat for an hour, and it's a great way to kick off the weekend. Love to see you there. Come and join us. It's fun. But anyway, the suggestion came in, why not do on the Top 5 Tuesday slot a video about influential female guitar players? And I thought, brilliant idea. Why didn't I think of that? So anyway, that's what we're talking about today. Influential female guitar players, beginning with
Rosetta Tharpe.
Yes, indeed, there she is, Sister Rosetta Tharpe. In a career spanning from the 40s to, I think she died in the 70s, I believe. But she was often described as the godmother of rock and roll. She did very much a similar thing to Ray Charles in many ways, in that she fused blues and gospel music and caused some outrage by doing so. She was the first great recording star of gospel music, and she was among the first popular recording star to use a distorted guitar tone. I might be wrong here. My research isn't infallible, but I'm told that she was driving an amp into distortion even before Link Ray with, the rumble and, slashing his speaker cone to get that distorted sound. She was doing it first, I'm told. A gig that she played as part of a tour of the UK in the 60s, 1964. I think she headlined with Muddy Waters. That gig in Manchester was cited by the likes of Eric Clapton, Jeff Beck and Keith Richards as being a massive influence. And, there are many songs which are pointed to as being the first ever rock and roll record. Rocket 88, that's often cited, isn't it? That's All Right Mama, that's another one that's cited. But, her 1945 hit, Strange Things Happen Every Day, has been called by many music experts and pundits as, the first ever rock and roll record. So there you go. No list of influential female guitarists could be or would be complete without Sister Rosetta Tharpe right there at the top. Next,
Jennifer Batten.
Yes, indeed, Jennifer Batten. Quite apart from the fact that of all the other attributes that she brings as a guitar player, the fact that she was Michael Jackson's guitar player, kind of showing female guitar virtuosity, or guitar virtuosity, being done by a female, on a massive world stage. That has to be influential. How many, young boys and girls, I suppose, tried to learn the moonwalk after watching Michael Jackson, but how many of them also thought, that guitar player is really good and that's a role model for me? So in that sense, she is massively influential. She's not just a regular shredder though. I mean, she can shred like, kind of like an 80s rocker you would expect, but, she brings innovation to the table as well. There were quite a few 80s female shredders that I was thinking of putting on this list, but Jennifer just stood out because, she developed that two-handed tapping thing beyond just being, copying what Eddie Van Halen did. And there's also a range of diverse influences in her playing as well, from jazz and metal to world music and fusion and, funk. So it's not, she's a bit more three-dimensional a player than, just that sort of 80s hair metal rock. And, she's toured and worked with Jeff Beck. And, if you can impress somebody as innovative and, groundbreaking as Mr. Beck, then I would suggest that you've probably got quite the skill set and deserve a place on a list of influential guitarists, female or otherwise. So that's why Jennifer's on the list. Next,
Maybelle Carter.
Yes, indeed, Maybelle Carter, going back in time once again. she was the matriarch of the Carter family. You know, Johnny Cash, June Carter. I think she was June Carter's mum. She was an early female guitarist from the early 20s onwards, and, you know, essentially demonstrated that, you know, this was something that a woman could do, you know, play the guitar and do it well. Probably the only guitar player on this list who actually has a technique named after her, the Carter Scratch. Yeah, it's a new one on me as well, but when I heard it, I recognised it. It's that kind of thing where that became synonymous with Chet Atkins, where you're playing a melody on the bass strings and strumming chords or picking chords on the treble strings, or vice versa. You know, in these early days, as I say, from the late 20s into the 30s, she was very instrumental in turning the guitar into an instrument that actually took the lead. You know, it was, before then, it was essentially, you know, the lead instrument was the vocal and maybe the fiddle and, you know, piano and whatever, and the guitar was just strumming in the background. Well, thanks to Maybelle Carter, you know, along there, I guess with someone like Charlie Christian and Django Reinhardt in other genres, but certainly in the country genre, Maybelle Carter is responsible for putting the guitar in the limelight as a lead instrument. So there you go. She's got to be on the list. Next.
Joni Mitchell.
Indeed, Joni Mitchell, what I've got written down here is taking the troubadour tradition of Woody Guthrie, Pete Seeger and Bob Dylan and running with it and just making it her own. You know, it's, again, she is one of the artists on this list that, you know, try to define the genre that Joni Mitchell plays in, and you end up just saying, well, it's Joni Mitchell. Folk, blues, jazz, pop, you know, rock, you know, it's just all in there, and she just melds it seamlessly into her own genre. You know, anybody, frankly, that is quoted as an influence by artists as diverse, and I've got a list here, as David Gilmour, Prince, Taylor Swift, and, you know, progressive metal bands like Opeth. Yeah, that is an influential guitarist. You know, you got or songwriter or musician, let's say. Probably she's the most high-profile exponent of alternate tunings, and, you know, her early work especially capitalised on that by being harmonically innovative, using pedal tones, chromaticism, quartal and quintal harmony. Basically, quartal harmony is, theory geek moment, is when you build chords rather than thirds but build them in fourths, and quintal harmony is when you build chords and harmonies based on fifths. She was doing all of this way ahead of anybody else, certainly in popular music. So, you know, massively influential. She's got to be on the list. Next.
Bonnie Raitt.
Yes, indeed, Bonnie Raitt. There are no shortage these days of virtuoso female blues guitarists. I mean, Samantha Fish springs to mind, Joanne Shaw Taylor, Chantel McGregor. The list can go on for quite some time, but Bonnie was blazing a trail for this female virtuoso blues player back in the early 70s, and I can't think of too many other female virtuoso blues guitarists who were around as early as that. I think her first album came out in 71. She's a virtuoso blues guitarist. She's a singer, she's a songwriter, she's crossed genres into rock and country and, you know, folk, and everything again has her own stamp that she's put on it. And as I say, would we have had Samantha Fish or Joanne Shaw Taylor without Bonnie Raitt? I very much doubt it, or it would have been less likely, let's put it that way. I lost count of how many Grammy nominations she's been given, but certainly how many she's won. She's won 12 Grammys. That is an achievement by anybody's standards, and she's the first female guitarist to have a Fender signature model. So again, massively influential and, you know, deserving of a place on this list. And there you go, folks. Those are just 5 of the, I think, most influential female guitar players across a wide breadth of genres. We had Sister Rosetta Tharpe with the bluesy kind of gospel crossover stuff. Jennifer Batten, jazz, rock, fusion, world music, Maybelle Carter in the country genre, Joni Mitchell, again, name a genre of Joni Mitchell, you end up saying it's the Joni Mitchell genre, and Bonnie Raitt. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Have I missed anybody off that you think deserves a place there, or do you disagree with anybody that's on this list? I'm interested to know what you think. And that is the video for today, folks. If you've enjoyed it, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and why not give me a like while you're at it. And as I said earlier, don't forget the live stream every Friday 5 p.m. UK time, where we have a beer and a chat. Great fun. Come and join us. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.